Okay, we got our quarter panel arm marked off, and we're ready to start cutting this thing out. Now what I usually do is I'll take my air chisel, which you're going to see, and one more thing about safety, this is real important as well. Just wanted to point that out to you. I don't know if anybody's paid attention, but safety is the biggest thing that I actually push toward people, you might say. Because I believe that safety is your #1 tool that you'll ever have. So always remember, everything you do is designed and focused around safety. And that even includes working on this guy's car. It has to be safe for him to drive, to have the safety secureness that he needs to feel safe. Do you understand what I'm saying? So anytime you're working on anything that another human being is going to get involved with, always consider the word safety in that sentence. Very important.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
But back to the situation here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this whole outer skin off using my air chisel. And then once that's done, we're going to come back and then we will fine tune and cut all the spot welds out. We're going to go ahead and fine tune cut this. We're going to get that door jamb cut where we need it and go from there. Let's get started. So the bit that I'm using of choice is called a spot weld buster. This is actually a bit that you would use to bust the spot welds when you are cutting the spot welds out. Very good tool to grab it right here and cut the panel out as well. It's going to get a little bit loud, but that's okay. We got our protection on. We got our gloves, safety glasses, and we're safe. So what we did, we went ahead and removed, gotta take this shit out of here. Basically, the outer skin of our quarter panel. Now what we'll do is we're going to go around and we'll start taking all the spot welds off. And you can see right here, now we can visually see what's going on and what we need to do to get those spot welds off of our tail light panel, which is back here. We also got to remove the spot welds down here as well to get all this section off and to remove it from our panel right here, which is called a trunk floor extension. Now, I want everybody to look at this section right here that I'm showing you. This is called a trunk floor extension. This is a 1967 Camaro. Everybody knows that. And I'm going to be honest with you, that is the cleanest trunk floor extension on an early 60s, mid 70s muscle car that I've ever seen in my life. This thing is still like brand new. This guy got a real good deal on this car. Look how clean all the metal is in here and how nice it is. As we're looking here, I want to show you something else. If you look right here, this is another reason you don't sandblast. Look at this. That sand gets everywhere and it's pretty much impossible to get it all out, but we will clean it out and get it all cleaned out, and that side as well over there. So don't worry, we're not even done with this car yet. We've just begun on it. But when we get done, there won't be any sand left inside this car. So that's what you're going to do is right there, you're going to cut it out. All right, you're going to cut the meat out, and now you can kind of visualize what's going on here, and you can see that this is a good section right here. Let's look inside the car. And you can see some sand down in there, but I will say it's very clean just from what I'm looking at. And as we open our door, we can see that on the inside of this door, there's a double wall right here. There's a double wall that has to be welded, and it's inside this inner frame structure right here. That's why I want to leave this alone, because that door really fits good and it really shuts nice. So what we're going to do is we'll cut it off in here somewhere, and then we're going to go ahead and splice it in, weld it in, and manufacture our own piece out of our full quarter panel that we got right here. So now that we got the inner guts taken out of our quarter panel, the next thing that we want to do is we want to come over here, we want to locate all of our spot welds where we're going to cut our spot welds off, and that's on the outside as well as the inside. We want to get all our wire harness out of the way. You can see I just moved that. And then what I'll do is I'll take my grinder and I'll start cleaning this edge off. So what I'm going to use is my little 2-inch Rollo-Lock grinder. You can see that right there. This is a Rollo-Lock pad. See how it locks on there? And then what I'll do is I'll clean the metal off and get all that seam sealer to find my spot welds. Now I'm running into a problem here, so what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and take my channel locks and I'm going to go ahead and bend this out of the way so I can get to where I need to be to actually get those off in the right position that I need. And then we also know from following our outer edge of our new quarter panel, we know that there's an area in here where the quarter panel welds onto the tail light extension. So we're going to go ahead and take our grinder. It looks like I need a new grinder. Wow. Let me go get me a new pad and we'll get this all ground down so we can find that seam. Now, I want to look at that right there. You can see that that seam right there is all bondoed up. Okay, see how that's all bondoed up and you can't see it? Take a look at this seam over here on the right hand side. That's what I'm talking about, factory seams, okay? And that's the first thing people look at when they go to buy these cars, is all the factory seams where all the panels are installed, are they all still there? Just what I was suspecting. You can see where they brazed it up right here, and I don't even know if it's welded in between them brazes. We're going to find out here in a split second. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my Air Chisel once again, and I'm using my spot weld buster edge. You can see how it's beveled on one side, flat on the other. And the side that I want to remove, I'm going to put the bevel edge on where it'll push it out, and then this side will stay flat. So we're going to go really slow, see if we can bust this section loose. And now you can basically see what I got to do all the way around this vehicle. Let me go ahead and repeat my process as I travel around, get all the spot welds off. I'm going to trim it up where I want to trim it. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and fit the quarter panel to the vehicle. Alright, while I was removing this quarter panel, where I'm going to put the factory edge on it, I was realizing that there's a few tech tips and tricks that I wanted to show you, the viewer out there. And one of them is using your cutting wheel to remove the spot welds. Now, you can use an electric cutting wheel, but the problem that you have by doing that is it's not variable speed. So when you're using a cutting wheel of an electric cutting wheel, you want to really be careful and precise and take your time. And when I say take your time, I'm talking about not pushing real hard. Let the weight of the tool do the work for you. Since we're using an air-driven angle grinder here, grinding wheel, this I believe this is a 2-inch grinding wheel that I purchased. I can go ahead and control it by the speed. You see what I'm saying? And I'll be able to take these spot welds out by taking my grinder and cutting through this panel only. Let's go ahead. I want to show you what I'm talking about here. This is a very important situation on how to remove this. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to come in here and try to find all these spot welds that I have to drill out. I'm trying to remove this panel without drilling through this panel, if that makes any sense. So you can see where we're going to come across right here. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Now that we've removed our quarter panel section from the vehicle itself, I'm going to go ahead and take my pry bar and I'm going to pry it up. And the reason I'm doing this is to find my spot welds. I can see that there's one right here. So what I'll do to remove that spot weld instead of drilling into it, I'm going to go ahead and take my cutting wheel just like that. And I can see that. And then I'll take my pry bar again, and hopefully, as you can see, now we're getting somewhere by removing this. Okay, there's another one right here. Take my pry bar and pry that up, and it looks like we got one more in this area right here. So now that I removed that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my grinder and I'll go ahead and locate my spot welds. Here's one right here. just going to grind through the metal, the top layer. I'm not going to go through the lip of the trunk. Spot where the other guy that replaced that little section on here braced it onto the vehicle factory quarter panel. So we're going to have to cut that out of there. And then of course right here we're going to have some spot welds, but we don't know what's going on here. So what I'll do is I'll take my little grinder. Where did it go? Where's my grinder? Here it is. It's hiding under the chair, trying to get away from us. We're going to go ahead and before we do that, we'll go ahead and cut this corner off and get it out of the way. Then we'll go ahead and take our grinder. And I don't see any spot welds here at all. So this is where, okay, here's one right here, I believe. Let's go ahead and take our pry bar and see what we got. Yes, that is a spot weld. So we're going to take our little cutting wheel one more time. We're going to cut that spot weld off. Then we're going to take our air chisel with our spot weld buster bit. See that I cut the spot weld using my cutting wheel, and then I'm very careful. Here's another one right there. Let's go ahead and get that off. This panel up like we did that other panel. I'm going to go ahead and take my air chisel and I'm just going to cut down this edge here to get rid of some of this. Be very careful not to hit that bottom lip, this piece right here, so we can keep that. There we go, right there. Got to be really careful with this trunk opening lip because we're going to keep that. So I'm looking inside there. I'm going to have to bend this back just a little bit, and I can see where somebody welded that on there. I'm going to bend that down and that like that. And I can look inside here and I can see where they replaced that. This is a tricky quarter panel to replace, so. And I'm just cutting the welds off of the car and moving down the line. There it goes, right there, come on. Okay. I think we have another spot weld right here. If we do, we're just going to bend this out of the way lightly so we can get in here. This is one of the hardest sections that you're going to remove from your car when you're replacing your quarter panel. Okay, there's another spot weld that popped up. A lot of spot welds, you got to be really careful. away from right here. There we go. Okay. Now we should be able to get these out of here and move down the line. See, by looking it up, did you see what happened? I got all them spot welds cut off by using my cutting wheel. Still got a few right in here somewhere. I got to find them. I'm sure there's one right here. And I think there's one right here. Take our pliers again, pull up on it so we can reveal the back side and see where this thing's tied on. And I'm looking at a little piece right here that's folded up on it. There we go. Okay. And then, look what happened. Look what we got right here. We have now removed that section out of our car using our cutting wheel as a drill. We didn't drill through all this metal here. We'll be able to clean all that up nice and clean. I'll hammer and dolly all that back together, get it looking good. When I set my new quarter panel on here, it'll fit right on there and everything will line up perfect. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and start right here. I'll remove this lag that I'm looking at using my cutting wheel to get that off. And then, here's that piece right here just to let you know. I'll go down this section here. I'll come around my floor extension. I'll remove that. I'll get this fender well all taken off. And then that section will be removed off the vehicle. The only other thing that I'll have to do is clean all these edges up that I cut off, and then we're ready to go ahead and start fitting our quarter panel where we want it so we can start welding it on.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.